Stop settling for weak, tinny sound that gets drowned out by the wind. Today, we are transforming your backyard into a concert hall. I've tested the top-rated outdoor speakers to find the ones that actually survive the elements and sound incredible doing it. 7. MOFOKEAY Outdoor Bluetooth Speakers. When I first unboxed these, I was immediately drawn to the gimmick, and I say gimmick with a bit of affection here. These aren't just speakers. They double as an LED flame atmosphere lights. The idea is fantastic. You stick them on the included stakes around your garden or patio, and they flicker like tiki torches while playing your music. For ambiance, they are a solid 10 out of 10. I set them up for an evening barbecue, and the warm yellow light really did set a nice mood. The sync feature allows you to pair a massive number of them together, technically up to 100, which suggests you could surround your entire property in sound and light. However, once you get past the visual appeal, the audio performance leaves a lot to be desired. In my testing, the sound profile was incredibly thin. It's very treble heavy, meaning you get clear vocals, but the moment you put on anything with a bass line, the speakers just disappear. It's not that the sound is distorted, it's just hollow. If you are listening to a podcast or light acoustic background music, it's passable. But for a party where you want people to dance or feel the energy, these just don't have the horsepower. The drivers are small, and the plastic casing doesn't help with resonance. Another issue I ran into was the pairing process. While they claimed to sync easily, getting the parent speaker to talk to the child speakers was a bit of a headache. 6. Herdio Outdoor Bluetooth Speakers. These are a more traditional box-style speaker that you mount under the eaves of your roof. The appeal here is the price point for a dedicated stereo pair. You get one active speaker that plugs into a power outlet and one passive speaker that wires into the active one. On paper, this sounds great because you don't need a separate bulky amplifier inside your house. The Bluetooth receiver is built right into the speaker itself. However, the execution in the real world has some flaws. My biggest gripe during installation was the wiring. You have to run a speaker wire from the active unit to the passive unit. This limits how far apart you can place them unless you want to splice your own longer wires. Furthermore, the power brick for the active speaker is bulky, and surprisingly, the connection point didn't feel as weathertight as I would like for something that lives outside. I had to buy a separate waterproof box to house the plug connection, which added to the cost and installation time. Sound-wise, the Herdio speakers are loud, I'll give them that. They can definitely fill a patio with noise, but noise is the operative word here. At higher volumes, the clarity takes a nosedive, the highs become harsh and piercing, and the bass gets muddy. I played some classic rock tracks, and the cymbals sounded like sizzling bacon rather than crisp percussion. It's the kind of sound that fatigues your ears after an hour or so. 5. Dual Electronics Outdoor-Indoor Speakers. This is where we start seeing equipment that feels like it belongs in a permanent installation. These are passive speakers, meaning you will need a separate amplifier to power them, but don't let that scare you off. The trade-off is worth it. These three-way speakers are incredibly compact but pack a surprising punch. I was genuinely impressed by the dispersive sound quality. Because they are a three-way system, meaning they have a woofer, a mid-range, and a tweeter, the audio spectrum is separated beautifully. When I tested these with some complex jazz tracks, I could hear the separation between the saxophone and the upright bass clearly. Unlike the Herdio speakers, the duals maintain their composure even when you crank the volume up. They don't shriek at you, they just get louder. The design is simple and utilitarian, which I actually prefer for outdoor gear. They blend into the siding of a house or a pergola very well. The mounting brackets allow for a 120-degree range of motion, so I was able to mount them high up in a corner and angle them down toward the seating area. The click-lock feeling when you tighten the knobs is satisfying and secure. I never felt like these were going to droop over time. One of the standout features here is the bass response relative to their size. They have a 4-inch woofer, which sounds small, but the acoustic suspension design of the box squeezes every drop of low end out of it. 4. BolaButty Upgraded Outdoor Speakers. If the MOFOKEAY at number 7 was a toy, this is the grown-up version of the portable party speaker. These are Bluetooth units that focus heavily on modern features and fun. The design is sleek and cylindrical, and they feel dense and well-constructed in the hand. The main selling point here is the bass. BolaButty has tuned these specifically for outdoor environments where low frequencies usually escape. When I played modern pop and EDM tracks, the bass was thumping. It utilizes a passive radiator design that really moves air. It's an energetic sound signature that is perfect for pool parties. You don't just hear the music, you feel it a little bit, which creates a great vibe for guests. I also have to mention the lighting effects. Unlike the flickering flame of our number 7 pick, these have RGB lights that sync to the beat of the music. It pulses and changes colors in time with the rhythm. It sounds cheesy, but at night it actually looks really cool. It turns the speaker into a centerpiece rather than just a background utility. Plus, you can turn the lights off if you just want to chill, which saves battery. Speaking of battery, the performance here is stellar. I got nearly 20 hours of playtime at moderate volume with the lights off. It easily lasted through a 6-hour gathering. The TWS, true wireless stereo pairing, is also much more intuitive here. 3. YAMAHA NS-AW190WH. YAMAHA has been making instruments and professional audio gear for decades, and that pedigree shines through here. These are wired, passive speakers, and they are designed for the person who cares about audio fidelity above all else. The sound signature of these speakers is what I would describe as natural. They don't artificially boost the bass or hype the treble. They just reproduce the music exactly as it was recorded. When I listened to live acoustic recordings, the guitar strings sounded crisp and real, not processed. The vocals are forward and clear, making these excellent for outdoor movie nights where dialogue intelligibility is key. Build quality is exceptional. The cabinets are solid and heavy, minimizing unwanted vibrations. The grills are aluminum, meaning they will never rust, even if you live near the coast with salt in the air. I examined the terminals on the back, and they are gold-plated and weather-sealed, ensuring that your wire connections won't corrode over the years. It's these small details that separate a consumer product from a prosumer product. Installation is straightforward, but professional. The mounting brackets are simple, but because the speakers are a bit heavier, you need to make sure you are drilling into a stud or solid wood. Once they are up, they look elegant. The white finish, which is the model I tested, looks very clean against white trim or siding, almost disappearing into the architecture of the house. 2. NiceBuy outdoor speakers. I was skeptical about rock speakers at first, as they often look tacky, but these are surprisingly convincing. The texture and color blend perfectly into a garden bed or landscaping. Once I placed them among some shrubs, they were virtually invisible. The killer feature here is the solar charging. These speakers have solar panels integrated into the top. I placed them in a sunny spot in my garden and never had to touch them again. They charged themselves during the day and were ready to play all night. This completely eliminates the need to run wires or carry them inside to charge. It is the ultimate convenience. Functionally, the Bluetooth range is impressive. I was able to link them to my phone from inside the house through a brick wall without any dropouts. They also feature a multi-link technology that lets you pair up to 50 of them. Imagine having invisible music coming from every corner of your garden. It's a magical effect. Sound quality is surprisingly robust for a solar unit. The cabinet volume of the Rock is quite large, which acts as a resonance chamber, giving the audio a deep, earthy tone. It's not high fidelity like the YAMAHA, but it's warm and pleasant. It fills the air in a way that feels very omnidirectional, rather than beaming sound in just one direction. Durability is obviously the main focus here. These things are built like tanks. I left them out during a thunderstorm, and the next morning they fired right up. 1. Polk Audio Atrium 4 Outdoor Speakers. In every category I tested, sound, build, installation, and value, these speakers just dominated. They are compact, wired speakers that somehow manage to sound twice as big as they actually are. Let's talk about the sound first. Polk has mastered the art of outdoor acoustics. The Atrium 4s deliver pristine highs that cut through wind and background noise, but they also have a mid-bass punch that gives weight to drums and guitars. I played everything from classical to hip-hop, and they handled it all with a smoothness that none of the other speakers could match. There is zero distortion, even at max volume. The installation system is the best I have ever seen. Polk uses a speed-lock mounting bracket. You screw the bracket to the wall, run your wire, and then the speaker literally clicks into place with one hand. You can aim it 180 degrees, And if you ever want to take them down for winter, though you don't have to, you just click them off. It took me less than 10 minutes to install the pair. Durability is military grade. These are tested against salt fog, extreme UV, and torrential rain. They feel incredibly dense and premium. The components are all rust-proof, and the cabinet is rugged. You get the sense that these will last for 20 years on your house without aging a day. What makes them number one is the balance. They aren't the most expensive, they aren't the biggest, but they are the most competent. Outro. So there you have it, the top 7 outdoor speakers to upgrade your patio this season. Whether you want the invisible solar convenience of the NiceBuy Rocks or the audiophile performance of the Polk Atrium 4, there is something here for every backyard setup.